Power is not always won by the strongest person in the room. More often, it belongs to the one who understands people. Every conversation, every conflict, and every negotiation is a game of psychology. Most people react with emotion. They argue, explain too much, or reveal exactly what they are thinking. The person who stays calm and reads the situation usually gains the advantage. This is one of the ideas often associated with Machiavellian thinking. It is not about using force. It is about using strategy. It is about knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to let others make the mistakes that benefit you. If you can control yourself, you can often influence the direction of any situation without anyone noticing. In this video, you will discover 10 dark psychological tricks that can help you remain in control when facing pressure, conflict, or manipulation. These are not magical techniques, and they are not shortcuts to success. They are lessons about human nature that have been observed for centuries. Used wisely, they can help you think more clearly, protect yourself from manipulation, and make better decisions when the stakes are high. Watch until the end, because the final trick is one that most people never see coming, yet it quietly changes the outcome of countless situations. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You will not see us again. The first dark trick is to master the silence. Most people believe power comes from speaking first, speaking loudly, or having the perfect argument. In reality, the person who controls the silence often controls the entire situation. Think about the last time someone asked you an uncomfortable question. What happened after you answered? Did you keep talking because the silence felt awkward? Most people do. They rush to explain themselves. They reveal details that were never requested. They become nervous because they think silence means they are losing. But silence is not weakness. It is patience. It is confidence. It forces the other person to wonder what you are thinking. It makes them question whether they have said too much. This is why experienced negotiators, leaders, and interrogators often remain quiet after someone speaks. They know that people naturally want to fill empty space. The longer the silence lasts, the greater the chance that the other person will volunteer information they never intended to share. Instead of rushing to react, let your words settle. Allow people to become slightly uncomfortable. You will be surprised how often they continue talking simply to escape the silence. The second trick is closely connected to the first. Never reveal everything you know. Human beings are predictable. When they believe they understand your thoughts, your plans, and your emotions, they feel they have control over you. But when parts of your thinking remain private, people become cautious. They start making guesses instead of acting with certainty. This uncertainty often changes their behavior in your favor. That does not mean becoming mysterious for the sake of appearance. It means learning the difference between what must be said and what should remain unspoken. Many people destroy their own position because they feel the need to explain every decision. They defend themselves before anyone has accused them. They reveal future plans before they are ready. They expose their fears, hoping others will understand. Unfortunately, not everyone deserves that information. Some people listen only to find weaknesses they can use later. Strategic people understand that information is a valuable resource. Once you give it away, you can never take it back. Imagine playing a game of chess while showing your opponent your next 5 moves. That would be foolish. Yet many people do exactly that in everyday life. They announce every goal, every frustration, and every strategy before taking action. The wiser approach is to let your results speak louder than your promises. Stay calm when others demand immediate answers. Speak with purpose, instead of speaking to impress. Listen more than you talk. Observe facial expressions, body language, and changes in tone. While others focus on being heard, focus on understanding. The person who gathers the most information while revealing the least usually makes the best decisions. Control does not always belong to the loudest voice. More often it belongs to the quiet mind that watches carefully, thinks patiently, and speaks only when every word carries weight. That is how seemingly ordinary people quietly gain influence while everyone else is too busy talking to notice. The second dark trick is to control what people see, not by pretending to be someone you are not, but by understanding that first impressions often shape every interaction that follows. Many men make the mistake of believing that skill alone is enough. They work hard, they gain knowledge, and they expect people to recognize their value automatically. The truth is that people rarely see the full picture. They make quick judgments based on confidence, behavior, and consistency. If you appear uncertain, people will question your abilities before you even speak. If you appear desperate for approval, they will unconsciously place themselves above you. This is why the way you carry yourself matters. Walk with purpose. Speak clearly. Do not rush your words. Make eye contact without trying to intimidate. These small habits communicate confidence long before anyone discovers your actual abilities. The next part of this trick is even more powerful. Never allow your emotions to become a public performance. Every man experiences anger, disappointment, frustration, and fear. The difference between a strong man and a reckless one is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to control when and how those emotions are expressed. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. Most people expect an immediate reaction. They want to see whether they can control your emotions. If you explode, they have already won because they dictated your behavior. If you remain calm, listen carefully, and respond only after thinking, the balance of power changes. You have shown that your actions belong to you, not to your emotions. This does not mean accepting disrespect. It means choosing your response instead of becoming a prisoner of your feelings. Men who master emotional discipline earn respect because they become predictable to themselves and unpredictable to those who try to provoke them. Another mistake many men make is trying too hard to prove their worth. They constantly remind others of their achievements, explain why they deserve respect, or seek validation from everyone around them. Ironically, the more you ask people to recognize your value, the less valuable you appear. True confidence is quiet. It does not need constant applause. It allows your actions to speak first. Instead of telling people how capable you are, let them discover it over time. This creates stronger respect because people believe what they observe more than what they are told. There is also power in consistency. Anyone can appear confident for one day. Real influence comes from behaving with the same discipline every day. Keep your promises, arrive on time, stay composed during pressure. Treat success and failure with the same steady mindset. Over time, people begin to associate you with reliability. That reputation becomes one of your greatest strengths, because trust is built through repeated actions, not dramatic speeches. Remember, controlling what people see is not about deception. It is about presenting your best qualities with discipline, while refusing to let temporary emotions define you. A man who carries himself with quiet confidence, guards his emotions, and allows his actions to build his reputation will naturally command more respect than the man who constantly demands attention. In the end, people rarely remember every word you said, but they always remember how you made them perceive you, and that perception often determines how they treat you long before they truly know you. The third dark trick is to use emotions as leverage, by mastering your own before trying to understand anyone else's. Every day, men lose opportunities, damage relationships, and weaken their position because they react instead of respond. Someone criticizes them, and they immediately become defensive. Someone challenges their opinion, and they feel the need to win the argument at all costs. Someone ignores them, and they chase validation. The moment another person can predict your emotional reaction, they gain influence over your decisions. This is why emotional discipline is one of the greatest forms of strength. It is not about hiding your feelings or pretending you do not care. It is about refusing to let temporary emotions control permanent decisions. When you stay calm under pressure, you force others to deal with their own emotions, while you remain focused on the bigger picture. This alone gives you an advantage in almost every situation. The next part of this trick is learning to frame the situation before someone else does. Every conflict has two versions. There are the facts, and then there is the story people choose to believe about those facts. The person who calmly explains the situation first often influences how others interpret everything that follows. Imagine two co-workers make the same mistake. One immediately accepts responsibility, explains what happened without making excuses, and presents a solution. The other waits until rumors spread and spends all his energy defending himself. Even if both made the same mistake, the first man appears responsible, while the second appears unreliable. This lesson extends far beyond work. In friendships, business, and family, the way you present yourself during difficult moments shapes how people remember you. That is why wise men focus on clarity instead of panic. Another important lesson is to recognize emotional traps before stepping into them. Not every criticism deserves a response. Not every insult requires revenge. Some people provoke others simply because they enjoy watching emotional reactions. The moment you understand this, you stop giving away your peace so easily. Instead of asking yourself, "How do I prove this person wrong?" ask, "What do I gain by reacting?" Many arguments disappear the moment you refuse to participate. Silence, patience, or a simple smile can often end conflicts that endless words only make worse. This is not weakness, it is control. Strong men choose their battles carefully because they understand that energy is limited. They invest it where it creates results instead of wasting it on every challenge to their pride. At the same time, never ignore the emotions of others. Observe them carefully. Listen more than you speak. Notice changes in tone, body language, and attitude. People often reveal what matters most to them without saying it directly. Understanding their emotions helps you communicate more effectively, avoid unnecessary conflict, and build stronger relationships. This is not about manipulating people. It is about becoming socially aware. A man who understands both his own emotions and the emotions of others can remain calm when everyone else is overwhelmed. He sees opportunities where others see chaos. He solves problems while others create them. In the end, the greatest power is not the ability to control other people. It is the ability to control yourself so completely that no insult, setback, or moment of pressure can force you to abandon your principles or lose sight of your purpose. The fourth dark trick is to turn pressure into your advantage. Most men believe pressure is something to avoid, but pressure is often the moment when true character is revealed. Anyone can appear confident when life is easy. Anyone can seem wise when there is no risk involved. The real test comes when everything feels uncertain. This is when most people panic. They rush decisions, say things they later regret, or abandon their original plan because they fear immediate discomfort. A disciplined man understands that pressure is temporary, but poor decisions can have lasting consequences. Instead of reacting to every problem, he slows down his thinking. He takes a breath, studies the situation, and asks himself what outcome he truly wants. This simple habit separates leaders from followers. While others are overwhelmed by emotion, he is gathering information. While others complain about circumstances, he is looking for opportunities hidden inside the challenge. The next part of this trick is learning how to redirect attacks instead of absorbing them. Every successful man will eventually face criticism, jealousy, or unfair judgment. Some people attack because they disagree with you. Others attack because your progress reminds them of what they have failed to accomplish. If you respond emotionally to every negative opinion, you give strangers control over your peace of mind. Instead, ask yourself whether the criticism contains useful truth. If it does, use it to improve. If it does not, let it pass without giving it unnecessary attention. Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. One of the strongest forms of confidence is knowing when to ignore noise and remain focused on your mission. Another lesson is to avoid making important decisions while angry, excited, or desperate. Strong emotions create narrow thinking. Anger pushes you toward revenge. Excitement encourages reckless risks. Desperation makes poor opportunities appear attractive. Wise men understand that time is often an ally. Unless a decision truly requires immediate action, allow your emotions to settle before choosing your next move. Many costly mistakes could have been avoided by simply waiting one day before responding. Patience is not laziness. It is strategic discipline. There is also value in creating uncertainty when others try to pressure you into making quick choices. Some people use urgency as a weapon because they know rushed decisions usually benefit them more than you. If someone insists that you must decide immediately, ask yourself why they fear giving you time to think. Confidence does not fear careful consideration. Manipulation often does. This does not mean delaying every decision. It means refusing to let someone else's timetable replace your own judgment. Finally, remember that every challenge teaches something valuable. Failure is not always a sign that you chose the wrong path. Sometimes it is simply the price of gaining experience that cannot be learned from books. Every setback develops patience, resilience, and wisdom if you are willing to study it instead of running from it. Men who become mentally strong are rarely those who lived easy lives. They are the ones who faced pressure repeatedly and learned how to remain steady when others lost control. In the end, pressure does not create weakness, it exposes it. The man who can think clearly while everyone else is overwhelmed becomes the one others naturally look to for direction, because calmness under pressure is a form of power that cannot be easily challenged or taken away. The fifth and final section is about ending the game before it even begins. The most effective men rarely win because they are stronger, louder, or more aggressive. They win because they think several steps ahead. They understand that every decision creates consequences, and they prepare for those consequences before anyone else notices them. This is one of the most valuable lessons you can learn. Stop living from reaction to reaction. Instead, begin asking yourself a simple question before every important move. What is likely to happen next? This habit changes everything. If you are entering a negotiation, think about the objections you might face before they are raised. If you are building a career, develop skills that will still be valuable years from now, instead of chasing short-term trends. If you are dealing with difficult people, consider how they usually behave, so their actions no longer surprise you. Preparation removes panic, and panic is often the greatest enemy of good judgment. The next lesson is to avoid making your opponent feel trapped. Whether in business, relationships, or everyday disagreements, people resist when they believe they have no choice. They become defensive, stubborn, and emotional. A wiser approach is to present options that allow the other person to feel involved in the outcome. People are far more likely to cooperate when they believe they reach the conclusion on their own. This is not about deception. It is about understanding human psychology. Respect often grows when people feel heard rather than forced. Another powerful principle is to guard your long-term reputation more carefully than your short-term victories. Some men become obsessed with winning every argument, proving every point, or getting the last word. In doing so, they damage relationships, lose trust, and create unnecessary enemies. A mature man understands that not every battle deserves to be fought. Sometimes the greatest victory is protecting your integrity while allowing someone else to keep their pride. Reputation is built over years, but can be destroyed in a single emotional moment. Choose your actions with that in mind. There is also strength in remaining adaptable. Life rarely follows the exact plan you create. Circumstances change, opportunities appear unexpectedly, and setbacks test your resolve. Stubbornness is often mistaken for strength, but true strength is the ability to adjust without abandoning your values. The man who can adapt to changing conditions without losing his purpose will continue moving forward while others remain stuck, complaining about what went wrong. Finally, remember that the greatest form of control is self-control. Many people spend their entire lives trying to dominate others, while never learning to master themselves. They cannot control their anger, their ego, their impulses, or their fears. As a result, they become easy to influence because their emotions dictate their choices. A disciplined man understands that real power begins within. He keeps his word even when it is difficult. He remains calm when others lose their composure. He thinks before he speaks and acts with purpose instead of impulse. These habits may not attract instant attention, but they create lasting respect. In the end, the darkest trick is not manipulating those around you. It is becoming so disciplined, thoughtful, and prepared that very few people can manipulate you. That is the kind of strength that lasts, and it is the kind of power every man should strive to develop. Power is not about controlling everyone around you. It is about mastering yourself first. The principles in this video are not meant to encourage manipulation, but to help you understand human nature, stay calm under pressure, and make wiser decisions. Men who think strategically, control their emotions, and act with patience often earn more respect than those who rely on force or anger. Learn these lessons, apply them with integrity, and let your actions speak louder than your words. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your next move could change everything.